If Iran closes one 21-mile stretch of water, fuel prices jump 40% in a week, airlines ground flights, markets crash, and within 30 days, we're in a global recession. This isn't speculation, it's been modeled, it's been war-gamed, and right now, the country sitting on that choke point is openly threatening to shut it down. The Strait of Hormuz, 21 miles wide, and 20% of the world's oil flows through it every single day. This is the Strait of Hormuz, and this is why it matters. Everything you buy, everything you drive, everything that keeps your home warm, it all depends on a stretch of water most people couldn't find on a map. And right now, today, the country that controls that water is telling the United States it's prepared to shut it down. You think you understand the Iran-US conflict. You've seen the headlines. You've formed an opinion. But here's what nobody is telling you. If Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, even for 72 hours, the world you know doesn't exist anymore. And the people who know this, they're not warning you. The Strait of Hormuz is 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, 21 miles. Through that gap, every single day, passes 20% of the world's entire oil supply. Not 20% of Middle Eastern oil, 20% of all the oil on the planet. Japan gets 90% of its oil through here. South Korea, India, most of Europe. The United States, which people assume is energy independent, still depends on the global oil price set by this market. Close the strait, and American prices detonate overnight. And here's the part that should disturb you. There is no alternative route. The pipelines that exist bypass maybe 20% of that volume. The rest has nowhere to go. The world's most important body of water has exactly one exit, and Iran sits on one side of it, has always sat on one side of it. This isn't a new problem. It's a problem that was designed in. Here's what rarely gets explained clearly in mainstream coverage. For decades, policymakers and economists have known that the global energy system has a single point of vulnerability, one choke point that carries extraordinary weight. The US Fifth Fleet is based in Bahrain, right there, at the mouth of the Gulf, specifically to deter Iran from closing the strait. Iran doesn't need to physically block every tanker to disrupt the strait. A credible threat alone can change the behavior of insurers, shipping companies, and markets. If even a handful of mines appear in those waters, or a tanker is damaged, maritime insurance premiums surge. Some companies pause transit. Oil flows slow before a formal blockade even happens. We saw a version of this in 2019. Tankers were attacked in these waters. Oil prices jumped. Markets reacted instantly. The vulnerability never disappeared. It simply returned to the background once tensions eased. So let's say it happens. Iran closes the strait. Here's what the next 30 days actually look like. Day 1. Oil futures markets open. Traders don't wait for confirmation. They panic buy. Brent crude spikes 30% before lunch. Your petrol hasn't changed yet, but the price was set this morning. Day 3. Shipping companies announce force majeure, the legal clause that lets them break contracts due to unforeseeable events. Supply chains pause. Tankers anchor outside the Gulf, waiting. Day 7. Fuel prices at the pump jump 25 to 40%. Airlines suspend routes. Freight costs double. Supermarket warehouses start to thin. This is not speculation. This is what economists modeled after 2019. This is the documented trajectory. Day 14. Governments start releasing strategic oil reserves. The US, UK, EU all have emergency stockpiles. They buy time, maybe 60 to 90 days of buffer, but the psychological damage is already done. Consumer panic buying, inflation accelerating, stock markets in freefall. Day 30. If the strait is still closed, we are in a global recession. Not heading toward one, in one. Unemployment rising, supply chains broken, governments under massive internal pressure. And here's the part that keeps analysts awake at night. A military response to reopen the strait doesn't open the strait quickly. It escalates the war. And escalation in that region pulls in Russia, China, and half of OPEC. Here's the uncomfortable psychology underneath all of this. You have been living your entire life inside a system that has a catastrophic single point of failure, and you were never told. What I will tell you is this: the Strait of Hormuz has been a loaded gun pointed at the global economy for 50 years. Multiple administrations, multiple decades, multiple warnings, and the gun is still loaded. Right now, today. The only thing standing between your life as you know it and something none of us have ever lived through is the assumption that Iran won't pull the trigger. That assumption has a name. It's called confidence.